Let's compare all of the microphones that I have here today. This, in the beginning, will be a edited audio of these microphones. So these are the Neumann TLMs. These are the Schoeps MK4s. And in this first part, this audio is going to be edited in a way that I would normally do for my videos. And then as I progress through, I'm going to compare all of the microphones. It will be unedited so that you can get an idea of what it sounds like. So as I come over to here, I'm going to start on the Neumann TLM103s and just sort of go through what I might normally do. And then as I come back over here, I'm going to switch to the Schoeps MK4s just so that you can hear the difference between these two microphones. And so they're both very, very different microphones, and they both serve a different function for capturing sound. So one is quite small, one's quite large, and so you'll hear the difference between the two microphones. And we'll try whispering. Whispering, I think, is one of the hardest sounds to capture. And then when you take it another level of, we're not going to say the word, it becomes almost inaudible to the point where even your ears in reality can barely hear the sounds. And so we try and find a balance of recording it in a way that you can hear it, but also to avoid all of that noise that comes from the floor. So if you listen, and then try again to listen, and then try again to listen, and then try again one more time to listen. So here I'm recording this for you as well as me so that I can get a little bit better idea on how the microphones sound and how they work. So we're going to go through a few different comparisons through this video. A lot of these comparisons are going to be recorded in mono so that it's there'll be no stereo recordings like there has been right now. It'll be mostly in a mono format. So let's go back in time to when I recorded a few different comparisons so that we can try and listen to the differences. And all of the audio that you're going to listen to will be unedited. Four-way microphone comparison between the Neumann TLM103, the Rode NT1, the Rode NTG3, and the Schoeps MK4 using a CMC1U amplifier. Basically, it's two microphones connected parts together, something like that. Okay. So, recording ASMR is probably one of the harder things to capture. So I'm talking approximately 30 centimeters, 12 inches away from the microphones right now. It kind of looks like they're closer, but I reckon this is going to be pretty close. So about 30 centimeters away or 12 inches is the distance away from the microphones that I'm speaking. Throughout this test, I will switch through the microphone so that you can hear. I will leave them unedited, so if there's noise in the recording, then I will leave noise. Alright, so first off, let's just go through one of the parts of the microphone that are important. How much noise does a microphone imprint into the recording? I am recording these into a SSL12 4-input recorder. The preamps are reasonably good, but they introduce noise themselves once they get to the top end. So the preamps are set to approximately about 8.5, close to 9 out of 10 on the slider control. And so let's listen to the noise that each microphone has. So looking at the noise levels, they're pretty much close to the specifications except for the Schoeps MK4. The Schoeps microphone is very, very quiet. It's close to the TLM, so the TLM's rated at 7 dB. The Rode NT1 is about 4, and that seems to be about correct. The shotgun microphone is about 13, and you can hear the noise of that. And the Schoeps microphone, I believe, was about 12, but it's coming in pretty much the same as the Neumann. So, alright, so right now I'm going to try and speak into them pretty directly. I've got them all within about 2 to 3 centimeters or an inch of each other, so they're not perfect, but they're very, very close to being the same. So what I can see is that the shotgun microphone, it's definitely got the highest levels, but it has a different shaped pickup pattern. It has what's called a supercardioid, which is designed to be able to have better reach. But as I'm looking at the levels right now, it seems to me that the large capsule microphones, the Rode NT1 and the TLM, it almost seems that the TLM microphone might just be a fraction higher. And the Schoeps microphone, which I thought was actually a lot lower, is registering a reasonable level, but it seems that the Neumann microphone has the better levels out of not comparing the shotgun microphone. So the other 3 microphones are using the same pickup pattern, which is a cardioid, so it just picks up what's in front of it. So that's a fair comparison. So now we're going to give it a torture test, which is whispering, and then even worse, inaudible type sounds. Here we go. So we're going to stick to about 30 centimeters, 12 inches. And so this is one of the worst types of sounds to capture when you're recording audio.
extremely quiet whispering, and then if you take it another level down, you can make it even quieter. So quiet you could whisper into somebody's ear and they could barely hear you. This is where you need extreme amplification of the signal without imprinting any noise into the recording. So as I look at the recordings, again the road is doing pretty well, but something that makes me pretty happy is seeing that the Neumann TLM seems to be recording the next highest level. So let's just bring it a little bit closer. So we're going to try and go for about 15 centimeters, 6 inches away. I'm not going to talk directly into the mics because I'm worried that I might, the air might cause some problems because there's no pop filter. So here we go, just whispering into the microphone to see how well they can deal with these sounds. Very hard sounds to capture, and then when you bring it down another level to the point where you can barely hear it, now you understand just how hard it is to try and capture these sounds, and you can come even closer, but now it's getting a little bit too close. And so we're back to about 30 centimeters away, and you can try and hear how it sounds from the sides, and the sides pretty close. So that there is a little bit of a torture test for any microphone preamplifier to try and capture the sounds. So I'm just back to about 30 centimeters away. Yeah, pretty close. So I just got a few sounds. So I'm just going to try and bring these sounds. I'm going to do them at about 30 centimeters. I'm going to bring them about 15 centimeters or 6 inches away. Wow, listen, it's very quiet now. Listen to the noise levels. It's so quiet. So far the most impressive feature is the Schoeps. It has a very, very quiet microphone, much quieter than I expected. Okay. And
some crinkle sounds because it's just been part of the channel for so long. So about 30 centimeters away. So again, I am 30 centimeters away. So during this video, I'm going to keep the audio unedited, but in the sections where you listen to the noise, what I will do is I will amplify them a little bit just to make it a little bit clearer, or I might replay it or play it and then replay it with the volume amplified. So you're going to need headphones to listen to this. So overall, I'm kind of happy with what I'm seeing so far, and I look forward to listening to the difference between these microphones. Thank you very much. Microphone, take 2, because someone forgot to press record for the audio. Luckily, it wasn't a 1 hour long recording, because that would have been devastating. Anyway, let's go. So this is a test for you and for me to try and compare these microphones. So we have the Schoeps MK4. Same thing over here. Doesn't look very good, but they're close enough. This one is going through a preamp, a Berringer 1273, which is a clone of a Neve preamp. Something for me to try out. And this one's going through my audio interface. Now, the reason why we're doing it with these microphones is that I've tried this test with the larger microphones, and I did not like the sound of this preamp with those microphones. It just sounded a little bit, let's say, colored, which is what the preamp is designed to do. All right, this preamp is something that I'm just playing around with. I'm just trying to get a feel for how it may change the sound. So this is going through the preamp into the line input of my interface. This is going into the microphone preamp in my interface. And so the interface's preamp is designed to not change the sound too much, whereas this one does have a little bit of influence over the way the microphone sounds. So I wanted to try and compare. Right now I'm approximately maybe 25 to 30 centimeters, 10 to 12 inches away from the microphones, and I'm just going to switch between them as I'm talking so that you can hear the difference and so that I can hear the difference. So I've done a few of these tests, but this is the first one, so I don't know what the results are going to be like. It's the same as the first microphone test. I didn't really know the outcome until after I've recorded it. So let's do some sound tests. Crinkle sounds, preamp. This is approximately 15 centimeters away, 6 inches. No preamp, or just the audio interface. We'll go back to the preamp. Back to the interface. Okay. Some wood tapping sound. So again, this is for you and for me, so I can hear it. Again, we'll start 15 centimeters, 6 inch preamp. Audio interface. Okay, next one. I've been trying to set up for a sound of rain video, and so this will be a very, very good test to see what it sounds like. So preamp. Audio interface. Preamp. So, audio interface. The sound of rain is something that it's about time that I do, but I want to try and make it as good as I can. Preamp. Audio interface. Okay. So I had this idea. So this is the old Rode NT1. I bought some foam covers for it to try and do like a brushing sound. But I thought what I'd do is I'd get this, stick one of these microphones right close on top of it and record this sound. audio interface. Normally I'd use one of the brushes, but I just grabbed what was handy. Preamp. Audio interface. Alright, we'll try that one. We'll try some whispering. So this is the torture test. So again, I'm about 15 centimeters, 6 inches away, and I'm just looking at the levels. It sounds like there's some noises in the background that you might be hearing, but we will continue as I whisper into the microphone connected through the preamp, and now the audio interface. I'll just wait until some of these background sounds as a motorbike or something I can hear. But I really want to know how well these microphones will work in this situation. This is some of the hardest things to record, and then if you go inaudible, it gets even harder to try and capture these sounds. The large diaphragm microphones will work better for this recording. And so here I'll try and record some room tone so that you can hear the noise of the room, and you'll hear the noise of the microphone. So these microphones have like quite a nice white sounding noise to the microphone that's actually very, very easy to remove to make them quiet. So if you listen to the previous microphone test, I was saying that these were quiet. So on the recorder, the levels were low and the shotguns were higher, but the sound was very, very different of the microphones between the two of them. So these have a very, very nice white sound. So listen to the sound of the microphones and the room. Room tone. And I use that room tone to remove the noise of the room and the microphone. So I'll just do that now. So this is the noise reduction on these microphones. Okay, so I am going to shut this down and I'm going to put them into stereo and see what they sound like. Here is a little test of the microphones in stereo. So if we come over to here, you'll hear this microphone, and over to here, sometimes it's always nice just to really listen to the sound to see how it goes. And I'm quite interested to see how they sound. So these are very susceptible to the air, so I'm trying not to talk directly into the microphone and just see how it sounds like this or like this. Now we're going to connect them up to the preamp and see how they sound. So now we have these microphones connected through the Berringer 1273 Neve clone preamp, and we just want to see how they sound. So now this is about 30 centimeters away from the microphones. I can bring it down to a whisper to see how it sounds. And I just want to try and find what it's like if I was to use these in a situation where it was only these two microphones. And I'm really interested to see how they sound so that I can try and find the way that will best suit me, how I record, and how I can capture the sounds that I create in the highest quality that I can for you. Okay, so we're going to wrap up this microphone preamp test, or microphone test. So in the first part of the video where I compared the 4 microphones, you get a real sense of the difference of the microphones. And so I couldn't tell until I listened to it myself. And so the Rode NT1 does a very, very good job. It's a very, very good microphone. But I think the Neumanns as a replacement are a little bit better. The shotgun microphones recorded much higher levels. But when you compare the sound, you start to see that while they do a very, very good job, they're not as good as the other microphones, I think. And so I'm slowly starting to warm to these microphones, and the noise, I thought the noise was a lot lower, but it's not. It's what the manufacturer says is pretty accurate, but it's very easy to reduce the noise on these microphones. The noise is actually kind of good on these microphones. So I'm pretty happy with the microphone so far. These ones I still need to figure out how to get the best out of them, and hopefully over time I'll figure that out. But so far, that's it. I'm pretty happy with the microphones, and I look forward to recording more in the future.